or 4 things. It's very simple. Ask me now about arm wrestling, okay? It's so much simpler to me now than it was 10, 15 years ago. Okay, I understand energy and how much of it you have. The most important thing in arm wrestling is your cup. The second most important thing is your ability to resist the cup, which is pronation. The third most important thing is the ability to rise up and develop your grip, okay? Develop your position, okay? And I'd say the fourth thing is the ability to supinate correctly. That's a good hard retreat. Okay, those 4 things, and really they go down in values. So cup, roll. These are things you should spend 80% of your time on, 80% of your energy. Okay, cupping, rolling, every day, cupping, rolling. You want your big lifts. Care about how much you can cup, care about how much you can roll. Keep your rise in check, supinate every once in a while. That's it. All right, so the first thing we'll talk about is the cup. It's the thing that we should pay most attention to. Now, when you talk about vectors in arm wrestling, I'm going to say one thing. Whatever you do and you get strong enough at it, it's going to work. Anything. Okay, I know lots of arm wrestlers around the world, and if you get strong enough, supination, guess what? It's going to work, and you can base a whole fighting style off of it. What I'm showing, I think, works for 90% of the people out there. Okay, but I fully acknowledge that you get strong enough at anything, it's going to work, and it's legit. But talk about the cup. This is what I use so much. This is what I use every day. It's easy to make. The reason why it's the size that it is because to me it's around the same size as most of the people's hands that I arm wrestle. Okay? So when I put my hand on it, it looks something like this. See the space? Right? And that's because that's the way I want to arm wrestle. People, I watch arm wrestling, and I watch these guys with great hands, like watch Alan Fisher. Probably one of the most gifted guys in arm wrestling, especially his weight division. I see him grab people sometimes, and he's like this, okay? He's grabbing them. See this angle here? You guys see that angle? See this angle? It's terrible. It's terrible. The farther away from the body you go, the more important the angles are. Okay, this angle is so important. Flatten that thing out, get it as tight as you can get it. If I could like have this thing bent right back at me, I'd be walking around like this all day. You hear Christian Binney, like a lot of older guys in arm wrestling, be like, I use smaller diameter because it makes my hand tight. There's a lot of truth to that. Okay, a lot of truth to using a small tool, right? Because it'll make your hand tight and attack me in my fingertips, where everybody is gonna attack me. If I'm gonna arm wrestle Elia, and if he's gonna top roll me, where is it? Right on my fingertips, right? So this is where your cup has to extend to. So whenever you're cupping something big, it doesn't have to be this, anything. You're always make that space. Always make your hand flat. All right. Next thing. This is a problem that we kind of move through in the arm wrestling world. This. I love Ray. I love Ray of Cote. I love it. But I'll tell you, I have a problem with the wrist wrench. I bought a wrist wrench. I used the wrist wrench for a long time. Gives you a great pump. Okay? Great tool.
You gotta squeeze it though.
You gotta squeeze it. That's the problem. You gotta squeeze it. Like, you can even put sandpaper on this thing to make it, but if I'm not positively squeezing, it's spinning out. And that is a false mechanic. It's a false mechanic, in my opinion. Go to different parts of the world, they're going to disagree with me. I just got back from Austria, and these guys are squeezers. Okay, there are some small advantages to squeezing, but I think when you're talking about max exertion, don't have squeeze in your game. It makes you more susceptible to being top rolled. You want to be passed. You don't want to be ever holding on to people. You don't want to be squeezing. You want to just be past them and using your wrist. So that's why I don't really like the wrist wrench, just because it builds that false mechanic of having to always squeeze your opponent. And that's why when you use something that rolls from the outside like this, you have to use a strap. If this wasn't like this, if this was like just a large, like a Country Crush, you'd be fine. You wouldn't need a strap because it's just large diameter and you don't have to squeeze it. You can just roll it, okay? But if you want to get it out with your fingers, you need a strap. And that's why I use this thing. So, and it feels to me a lot more like arm wrestling because I'm working off that strap. And I always wrap high or low. Okay, this is a high one. The reason I like this is because this ties in. This ties into my pronation stability, right? So here I am, right to my center, right to my center. And as I start to turn over, you guys see that it wants to turn me over, right? Right, so you start to balance hooking and pronation together. Okay, you want to be more of an inside puller, okay, hooking and supination together. And this is that strap drag. This is that, at the table, you want to be a great inside puller. Zoom, right? This. You just wanted to knock somebody off their shoulder every time. It's this move. We'll play. I got a few of these. We can play around with them. I think it's good that you guys get this really down. It's kind of funky. There's a lot of balance involved, so you got to play with it a bit. But I'm a big believer in this tool. You guys got any questions with that as a group before we?
Do you feel that works your lats enough, or if you could get a cable down lower, would you hold that position and you know, like, do higher lat pulls too?
Well, you know what? We'll play with it. Okay, we'll ramp the weight up on this thing, and we'll mess around. You tell me where you feel it. I know what the problem is. The problem is in arm wrestling, even though I say the lat is always stronger than the bicep, even when doing rowing, it's not going to be your lat that's the problem. It's not. There's going to be something, whether it's some connection to your elbow or wrist along the way, that's going to give out. Even if you go flop, even if you're pulling this thing in a flop, it's not going to be the lat that's the problem. It's not. We'll play around though. We'll start messing around, load it up, get a good feel for it. If you even think you're going to pull a guy like this, you need to start early. Don't let me trap your thumb. You ever pulled George yet? Throw it out. George is backwards. Watch your thumb.
Is that guy named Crazy George?
Yes.
Crazy George?
Whenever you're arm wrestling with guys who have great King's moves, great swing outs, one of the things that they're really going to do, especially in the strap, is they're going to control your thumb. If you ever arm wrestle a King's move arm wrestler, you only do big thumb. You never let them touch your thumb. You need to protect your thumb at all costs, right? If you're gonna arm wrestle a King's mover, all a King's mover wants is to get a bite on that thumb and pull your thumb. Pull your thumb. You see some of the best King's movers in the world. Best King's mover in the world. Crazy George.
Crazy George.
Crazy George. Best. Michael Todd's great. Great, but he's got a whole lot of things going on for him. Crazy George, best King's mover on the planet. Okay, all he cares about is your thumb. He's going to hold on to your thumb, and he's got a tiny little midget hand on him.
Nice.
And he's going to pull your thumb right underneath your. He's going to top roll your thumb underneath your own hand. It's the weirdest sensation you'll ever see. Okay.
Yeah. First, your face.
I was at the arm melter, and I was like, oh my god, this is the first suit match I've done in like 4 years.
Is it a different mentality or
It
different
is.
way of training?
It is. It's different. Yeah, totally different.
Because it's just one person specified. Is that how it goes?
It depends. There's a lot of different formats, but there's different concepts that you're going to use in super match, vice
Completely different than a tournament.
It's not completely different, but yeah, like here's the thing. It's the finals. Like
That's what you're looking at. Super match.
It's the final.
Okay.
Right? In a tournament, I want to pick the path of least resistance through this entire field. Okay, that means I don't want to waste any time with you. I want to pin you and get the match over with as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Right.
Okay, but if I'm having a super match, exactly, I don't ever want that match to stop. I'll win the whole event, round 1, right? Well, the whole thing will be done if you let it, right?
Yeah,
if I can get you to a spot where I'm more efficient and I can goad you into continuing to expel it, then guess what? The whole thing is done.
Is that what happened with Andre Pushkar when he was like pushing
he
and you were
just
just like
knocked himself out.
And you were just
right,
like,
I could have won that match, but I'm like, work that.
So you did that on purpose. You just let him, and that way the rest of the matches you were
easy, right? He made one mistake,
and you caught it. You
and
caught
then
it
he made the mistake of expending all his energy, right? And then he can't recover.
Because it seemed like when you beat him, everybody's like, it was just like beating a child almost.
By the end, yeah.
Put him down like
because he blew his own. No, yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what happened. So what he was supposed to do? How was
Oh, Matt Mask. Yeah, what? Yeah, you.
Yeah, if he had it right away, so he hit, didn't pin, saw he had nothing.
Oh, he's like switching. He's messing with you. Don't let him mess with you like that. Oh yeah. Don't forget
Attack
to
that
breathe.
pinky if you can.
Don't forget to breathe.
Her little leg is shaking.
His legs are shaking. I can see him. You almost got him. You're so close. You're so close.
Stand up, get tall.
Stand up and get out your hand up. Hand up. See your palm. No. Keep pulling up. Rise up. Stand up. Yes. Stand up again.
He's trying to tell you how to beat him.
But when you do, don't forget to give me some back too. Stand up. Stand up. Wrist back. Stand up. Wrist back. Kick back.
Yeah. Right.
Stand up.
Damn.
I was trying to get down to your level, right? I'm trying to get in there. Let's not ever do that. Let's set those things on fire. Wow. There's nothing. What are you gonna do?
Oh,
Pull on a tree post?
Yeah. Come on, pull him over. Yeah. You almost got him. You're close.
Yeah, I
guess
feel
that
it.
means I have to come down to you. Yeah, come down here. Come down here just a little bit.
Not behind. No, that just made it worse. You're gonna have to explode. You're gonna have to beat his shoulder now.
There's not even a further place.
I'll let you get away with easing into it.
He's gonna let you get
Oh,
away
you're a
with it.
good man. Here comes.
I'm easing in right now.
Just like
Ease in.
that.
Ease in.
Oh, the foot's up. He's going inside. He's going inside on you. It's
Whoa. Bam.
Yeah.
he's doing the Marcio Barboza.
Bam.
I'm gonna give him. All right, you know what? I ain't giving you nothing. Now.
Bam.
Baby. All right, here we go. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh.
It's gonna make for a good video later. I can do the aerial view.
He's got stamina.
My arm.
Burn. You burned me. Damn, dude, that takes a lot to do that to me. You must be one of a kind. Because ain't no one ever does that to me.
Uh-oh.
Oh my. His mustache is even getting brown.
Fireball right here. Doesn't matter, you're losing this one.
Row.
Yeah, whatever. Play your game. Doesn't work with me. Whatever. Play it. What, you saying play
Focus.
it?
Focus, Will.
Play your games. I got games. I know how to play games.
Games.
Oh.
What the fuck is going on right now?
Right here.
Game.
I can play that. Yeah. Okay.
Serious.
Alright. I'm starting to get tired from all this.
What do you want from me? You just gotta tell me what you want.
I just ate a piece of pizza and all. Try not to have a heart attack over here.
Do you want this?
I just want you. Look at what I just want to lock up.
That's some funny shit.
Okay, my best. Wait a minute. I think I do want the strap. That's, you know what? Let's get in the strap. I'll even tell you what.
Believe me, I've been fucked over before.
Tell you what, I'll even take the buckle.
We're gonna get Devon Larratt, the number 1 arm wrestler in the world.
Right now, he's number 2.
My right is undefeatable. Let me tell you. My right will wear down the greatest beast out there right now. My left still has some work to do, but I can play. Okay, I can play with you now. Do you want this to be hard or do you want this to be slow? You know what? Like, what are we starting off with?
It's probably gonna get slow down for you. So
Lightning bolt?
Make it slow.
I
I like to enjoy it.
Me too. I was down.
Ooh, tighter. Ooh, that's good.
Get higher, bro. And don't let him sneak up. Look how high he is.
Wait, is this how we're starting? I just want to know.
Do you want me to start?
No,
I can slow into it. You want me to slow into it?
I mean, I start in this kind of position. Can you at least straighten your wrist for me?
Oh,
I mean,
all right. You want that back here?
Can you straighten it up?
You're using the power of your words. It's good.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Pull that wrist up a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, that's good there. I'm good. Yeah. Stay tight, Will. Stay tight. Make him work for it. Breathe and make him work for it. Elbow tight. Good. Keep breathing. Get that big tricep in.
Pivot, yep, there's a pivot.
Get that tricep in, Will. Keep him breathe. Keep him breathe, Will. He's going down, Will. He's going down.
You almost made it.
Come on, Will. We got some elbow fouls going on. We got one there. We got a guy way over the line. It's all right, guys.
I need to give you my medal.
I want to get out there and relax and enjoy and have
Hey, well, thank you so much, guys. Really, it's been fucking awesome. Really, like, I haven't had a workout like this, and I don't even remember. Like, seriously.
Well, good.
You guys are way up
something
there.
back home to your.
Yeah, you guys are deep in the game. I love it.
Cool, right on.